The podcast you have been waiting for.
6 friends, 6 opinions, infinite laughs.
You're watching history in the making.
You don't have to open up your eyes, you can clearly see.
The #1 podcast is GCU Week. 20 years of brotherhood. The Q La Familia. Raw, uncut, uncensored, and unfiltered. Bub's opinionated. Why Eddie keep you laughing? Steve will get the tea while Shot tells us all what's happening. Spiritual or natural. I'm here for the thrills. And when it comes to PJ, y'all, please say the real. From quick hits, heavy lifting, the mass to the week. We getting ratings through the roof every time that we speak. PA, VA, GA to the Aspens, turning podcasts into under-table has-been. Sports, entertainment, and current events. Sometimes we get pissed, so the crew got a vent. So when Friday night come, you know just what to do. Sit back, put up your feet, and now rocking with the Q. What's really good is Friday night. You already know what it is. We tuned in right about now. It's your boy Bugs coming out the 804 with the one and only TQ podcast, not to be affiliated with the magazine or the company. And as usual, I'm with the usual suspects, my Q La Familia. So we're going to go around for some introductions. Let's go, fellas. Bub, set it off.
If it's your first time with us, we welcome you. If it's not, we welcome you back. Either way, this is the perfect day, perfect way to start your Easter. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Let's go. We're going to go down to my bottom right. The real. Now, if y'all didn't know, when you see him in the street, you got to say the real. PJ, let's go.
Hey, what's up, y'all? But, you know, since Eddie's not here right now, he told me there was a long line at Edible Arrangements. He's getting everything ready for Easter. He's getting his gas station cards and everything. So he told me to also let y'all know that he misses you this week and hi.
Now, we most definitely want to plug.
Hold on, did he say hi, though?
No, he said hi.
Tell him I said hi.
He said like this. He said, hi. All right, I got you.
We definitely want to send a shout out to Eddie and Steve, who not on here tonight. Now we're gonna send it to Mr. Suave himself, none other than Mr. ATL Shot. Let's go. Let's get it started.
Yo, what's up, people? If you haven't already realized, it is the 420 show. Weed Day is coming up next week, so we're getting in here a little early. Buzz is over here smoking the world out. Not sure what Bub and PJ got going on. I'm sorry, the real PJ has going on.
High on life.
But for me myself, it's a day. So I'll meet y'all there. It'll be about 15 minutes. It's gonna be lit in this bitch.
Got mushrooms.
All right, so
he had a starfish. That's what it looked like he had a gummy starfish.
no, it's a square.
All
10
right.
milligrams THC. If you're not a smoker, edibles are your friend. Edibles will keep you from coughing and choking. They'll keep you from smelling like weed. And they hit a little harder. But here we go for the day. A lot of shit happened this week. Stuff happened this week. I'm already on one. Let's jump into. Let's laugh a little bit first. Let's start with this male birth control pill.
30 trials will begin later this year for the first male birth control pill. Scientists say it is designed to block a gene needed for conception. CBS 4's Laura Podesta explains exactly how it works.
Some men embrace the role of fatherhood, but for those who are not ready, their main choices are condoms, a vasectomy, or relying on women to manage contraception. Soon, they could have a new option.
We are very optimistic and very hopeful.
Scientists at the University of Minnesota developed a pill for men that blocks a vitamin A producing gene needed for conception. After a 4-week test on mice, researchers say the pill dramatically reduced sperm counts and was 99% effective in preventing pregnancy without harmful side effects.
We target non-hormonal pathways so that we wouldn't have those hormonal side effects.
The mice could be fathers again 4 to 6 weeks after they stopped receiving the compound.
As a urologist, I'm excited because this is something different. This is something non-hormonal.
Medical experts caution while the findings are encouraging, they're also preliminary.
We have to wait. It may take years before we actually see this as an option for men.
For people we spoke to here in Times Square, a birth control pill for men is an idea whose time has come.
Overall, more safety during sex, for both partners, that'd be beneficial, especially for me, so I would take it.
I probably would try though, while I'm still young at least. And then when I get older, I just let it rip.
If the FDA gives the okay, clinical trials for humans could begin within 6 months. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
Well, other male birth control pills now undergoing clinical trials target testosterone. They could have side effects, including weight gain and depression, and could also impact cholesterol levels.
All right, so who first in line to pop that pill?
I mean, I just want to hear the wild stories about when you have two chicks talking like, damn, what happened, sis? Yo, that nigga tried to lie and tell me that he was on the pill, sis. He caught me all up. We got to go do this thing together. Like, and now he ain't even trying to answer. Like, oh, what happened, sis? Because now, for years there was always a story of chicks saying that she took the pill and the dude like, man, she told me she was on the pill. Now it's going to be reversed. Like, and
but
then,
you know what?
For real?
No, go ahead.
Nah, you smooth, but you see, like my man said, he said it's gonna be safer. It don't stop you from getting AIDS or getting burnt. You know what I mean? It's just
you gotta pull that Furious Styles. Like, you wear rubber? Nah, pops, I was on the pill, and your dick be falling off.
Right. So in the main scheme of things, like, it's just gonna be a lie for men to really be able to hit raw. That's what I'm thinking. That, like, they're gonna be like, oh no, I'm straight. Like, never mind, because we even have a problem with people with AIDS stuff now. People want to go raw. So if you tell somebody you got the birth control, like, man, you ain't gonna get pregnant. Like, what about anything else? Man, don't nothing matter worse than kids. Like, you die from AIDS within a few years, but kids you gotta have forever. Like, what? So I'm sure they're gonna try to use that as some type of ploy to try to get more sex raw. Like, I'm talking about for younger people, because I'm old. That shit don't count to me.
That's gonna be dangerous, though.
I don't know if it's gonna be like. I feel like it's probably gonna be something more that men in relationships would take. I can't see just a bunch of young kids, young dudes signing up to get the birth control pill. That just don't even sound.
So you can't see a bunch of young girls sign up to get birth control pills?
No, I'm talking about a bunch of young dudes doing it. That's a completely different
there's
story.
a contradiction on male and female on birth control pills.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow.
PJ,
wow.
but could you see? PJ, let's be honest. Could you see a bunch of dudes that's lying because they want to hit raw? Condom sales will go down. Everything, because dudes are like, I want that birth control. Like, that's what's gonna happen.
Oh
PJ.
You can just lie and say that. Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah, that's the simple part of it. But I'm talking about actually signing up and doing it. I can't see.
Nah,
it won't be targeted towards the younger generation. I can't see them doing it
Well,
until it becomes a norm.
Well, let me backtrack a little bit.
Backtrack, Bugs.
I don't like the fact of, I don't know how comfortable I'm going to be with a female coming up talking about, are you on the pill? That alone make me feel some type of way, Chief. It just don't sit right with me. Because I don't know. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's because I'm old school, traditional. I don't know.
It's a
like I
question,
said, everything new to me. I like to at least be around 2-3 years before I experiment with anything new. That way I can see what it's doing, whether it be medicine, whether it be it's just something new off the market, vaccines, whatever. It got to be around, Chief. But that's just me personally.
They not waiting 2-3 years for you to figure out if you're going to take your pills or not.
I'm good.
I mean, it sounds good. Like, it sounds good in theory, but like, it's, again, like just like birth control for women, birth control pills for men don't stop diseases. It just stops you from producing a kid. Like, you know what I mean? But that shows where our mind is really at. Like, most of the time, like, oh, I'm on the birth control pill. Never mind the fact that you can get X, Y, and Z with it.
Yeah, but when you combine that with the way Bugs is already thinking, right? Like, he can't see a woman coming up to him saying, "Are you on the pill?" Right? You have a lot of people. You gonna have a lot of guys thinking the same way. Like I said, I feel like it's going to be something that's going to be more targeted towards, all right, you either get a vasectomy or you get on the pill. Not so much you just some young dude who just want to slang it around and then take the pill. I can't see it happening like that. Can't see it.
I'm stuck on the fact that y'all just think like a chick walk up to a dude and just be like, "Yo, you taking that pill?" Like that's kind of different to me. Like,
Yo,
like you said, like
that's what I'm saying.
yeah, but like now is it gonna be like, "Yo, is you gonna get them Jones?" But here's the thing: are you gonna go to the store and grab them? We talking young people because none of us is in that thing. We all in a different light, people. But are you gonna go to the store and grab some of them condoms? Nah, I'm already on the pill. That's how it's gonna go, right?
Sad to say, it probably will.
It depends on who the person is. I don't know if any people gonna be.
I'm just saying, but yeah, but
yeah, like I said, that like you're talking more so of in theory, people like lying about it, but I'm talking about who's actually going to take the pill. I feel like it's going to be somebody who is either thinking about getting a vasectomy or taking a pill.
What's going to happen? You're going to have a bunch of these dudes' moms taking them down to the clinic to get pills because they don't trust them. You ain't bringing no baby back home in this house.
Yeah, they tired of their grandma. But the thing is, in that same vein shot, they ain't gonna take them. So you know what I mean? Like, I was buying him them pills. I was taking him down there.
I was taking them. I started getting fat, so I got to get off of them.
yeah. Did you see the one they said, the one that's targeted towards hormones? What it say? It says that you gain weight. And get depressed. Like
so
we definitely don't. We definitely don't need no young boys all depressed and fat. Yeah,
sad swole people. You don't know they on that pill. Or you on that pill? Fucked up.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm good though. I don't need it.
So, yay or nay? PJ, your kids getting the pill?
Nah, come on, man.
Your boys, are you signing your boys up for the pill, PJ? You gonna sit down and have a pill talk with them, PJ?
Look, by the time it's clear, they'll be old enough to make that decision themselves.
But they'll be in college. You know, college is where the mistakes happen.
I'm saying they'll be old enough to make the decision themselves. So
you go sit down in their dorm and say, "Look, son, you're about to embark upon your new journey in life. You got some of those pills, or you want some of the hats? you want some of those things your dad used, or you want some of that new shit?" That's what you by the time my sons come around, right?
You gonna go to like Mr. McCall off of Loving Basketball. I like taking these pills.
but would you be able to? Would you feel comfortable enough, pushing this pill, knowing that it's something you never even tried yourself?
For what? I got a dog.
No, like.
What? He has no necessity of having kids. It's over. It's gone. They went out the window. The vet.
Okay. Clearly, your dog isn't going to take the pill.
So you believe that? Well, they run it on mice, so his dog might be, a decent candidate for it. But in your thing, PJ, like, so you wouldn't feel comfortable even promoting that towards your sons because of
I'm not saying
no, because what you're saying made sense in a sense because like, like nothing we try in our lifetime, but then things come in your lifetime. So, things happen. So sometimes things are new and you have a concern with it being like with your kids being a guinea pig with it. So, like.
No, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like I said, it would have to be something that they were comfortable with doing. It wouldn't be something I would push because like I said, I wouldn't have any experience with it.
Mm-hmm. So. What about you, Bugs? Your son gonna be older in like 5 years. I mean, we know how you feel, but would you even talk to your son about it, or are you just still giving the rubber conversation?
Nope, rubbers.
No doubt. I want to see where it's at. Like my son's is 5 and 8, so
it's all right.
By then they'll just have the patch.
What?
they just keep the patch on their shoulder all the time or whatever.
Oh man, like Nicaragua.
Never mind. Let's get out of this.
What we got next?
This is a lot. All right, so get off of that pill. All right, let's get into this little serious topic so we can get off of that and have some fun for the night. I'm sure everybody heard now about this shooting in Grand Rapids, so we're gonna jump on that.
Stay in the car! This is the view from the body camera of a 7-year veteran of the Grand Rapids Police Department. The officer joining the force in 2015. The person he stopped for the wrong plate on a vehicle, that is 26-year-old Patrick Leola, who gets out of his vehicle and refuses to follow the commands of the officer.
No, stop.
Leola tries to run, and that begins a 2-minute struggle between the officer and Leola. The officer fires his taser 2 times. both times striking the ground. Leola apparently had his hands on the officer's taser and apparently wouldn't let go of it. During the struggle, the chief says the officer's body camera is turned off due to the pressure between the officer's body, the camera, and Leola. The chief tells me the officer did not turn the camera off himself. The passenger with Leola taking this cell phone video shows the moment the officer is on top of Leola, then firing one fatal shot into the back of his head. Chief Eric Windstrom is a law enforcement veteran. He's also an attorney. He will not comment on this shooting. MSP is investigating, but he says it's a tragedy.
Well, I'll tell you the bad is that it's an absolute tragedy. It's heartbreaking. It's been a difficult time internally for the police department, but the good is it's prompted a lot of discussions and a lot of connections, which I plan to make down the road as I stayed here longer, but it's forced the issue even early. So I like to think that there is some positive.
Horrible choice of words to say that there is some positive so soon.
Right. Somebody
that
dies. There's
shouldn't even
no
be thinking
other.
about that. Yeah, we can't even think that's just too soon for that. But as far as the way things happen, I understand when once someone puts their hands on an officer's weapon, then they become a threat. However,
agreed.
However, didn't he already shoot the taser twice? Like what type of taser was this? Was the one that where it shoots those the things out, right?
Yeah, he missed twice.
So how much more was there was there more for him to shoot? You know what I mean? Like if this dude would have got a hold of the taser, was he going to be able to use it on the officer?
I think at that point, it's literally like you're fighting, and it's again, it's a bad situation because I still think the cop could have. Cops have like hand to hand like fighting training, so it's
punch
like
him in the back of his head.
I'm saying if it comes to that point, like I'm gonna just beat you up and we good. Like you're just gonna get knocked out and don't say shit about it. But I think for me the problem is like you grabbed your gun and you shot him in the back of his head. You ain't shoot him in his leg. You ain't hit him in the arm.
Right.
You shot him in the back of his head. You knew that was a kill shot. Like there's no way around that. Everything else up to that point, dude was wrong. Like you wrong. I don't know why he was doing whatever he was doing. Call it fear. Call it. I'm sure they're gonna say they're gonna look for drugs in the toxicology report. All that's gonna happen. They're gonna look for it. But up until that point, the victim is wrong. When the cop shoots him in the head, the cop is wrong. Like there's no reason to shoot somebody in the back of the head like that. That's
That's not protocol to shoot them in the head. They don't even aim for the head. Yeah, I mean that you're not even trained to do that. It's too small. You're supposed to aim for the body. You know what I mean? That's the biggest target you have. Shooting in the back of the head was never anywhere in that handbook.
Yo, that's why I couldn't be a cop because either at that point I'm gonna let you go and we're just gonna catch you later and I'm gonna see you on the street. I'm gonna hit you up with my car. Like that's where I'm gonna go with it.
Right.
Running down, hitting with the car. Like the pull the gun thing, shooting at people.
I'm not vehicular homicide.
Yeah, I'm not getting on the ground fighting with you. I'm not rolling around doing this. It's like it's not happening. Cop wasn't aggressive at all. He wasn't trying to be aggressive. I think that was more of a subtle situation than I think we've seen in any other police and citizen interaction. Yeah. So, dude escalated that, and unfortunately, he got killed the wrong way. But it's the unfortunate aspect.
Yeah, he escalated it, right?
Yeah,
but it looks like he escalated out of fear, not out of aggression.
But that's what I'm saying. It's fear for something, like something was wrong.
Yeah.
So one, like you said, you're driving a car with the wrong license plate, which we're gonna get to that as well. But go ahead, PJ. I'll let you finish first.
Yeah. So he escalated out of fear, but I don't feel like in any way was he being aggressive. Him holding onto the taser to me looked like I don't want to get shot with this taser. Not so much I want to take the taser from you and shoot you with it. You know what I mean? And then once you're on the ground and you're on top of me, you win. You know what I mean? No matter what, I don't care what you're holding on. You're on top of me. I'm face down. You're winning. There's no need for deadly force at that point.
So My question when I started like looking at the details of it, it was you're in a residential area. You didn't say dude was speeding. Why'd you run his license plate?
Right.
So that's the first question. What did you run his plate for? So even know that the plate didn't match the car. What did he do that was wrong? So I think that's the first question, and then from there it's what else is there at that point? You got batons, you got mace.
Are they wrong for doing that though?
For shooting?
I don't think there's anything. I know for running the plates. I don't think there's anything against the law for them to run the plates just randomly, just because.
Yeah, I think they do that all the time. Like here's the thing: you're taught that to always assume. That's why people tense up when they're around cops because they run plates, and people tense up because of circumstances like this. But we also know that they just run plates randomly anyway. Like, you know what I mean? So again, like that's not the thing. And like you said, it wasn't. It's hard because one moment we're celebrating the Chauvin case about him getting time, but then we see Amir Locke not get the situation because he had the gun, and now we have this. And then, like you said, when you look at this situation now, this time, like you said, when you even say shot in the back of the head, it resonates very, very, very deep into the fact that, like, he was in a position where he wasn't going to harm you because you're shooting the back of his head. You know what I mean? So everybody knows that. And when you keep hearing just that part over, regardless of whatever it is, if you hear shot in the back of the head, it just sends chills to everybody. Like, you can't be right. And like you said, even when you watch the tape and watch the footage and you see the interaction, how it unfolded, the back of the head is still just something different. Like, like it's just, and these things keep happening, and they just seem more inhumane every time they happen. So it's hard. It's just hard to keep watching and hearing about these things.
But that's the thing. I think my opinion, your gun should be the last thing you draw. So you got,
well, in this case it was.
You still got you got mace and you got a baton.
Yeah, you're right.
left.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So you could have maced him. You know what I mean? You could have maced him. You could have like hit him with a baton, whatever. And then even if you're going to shoot, it's like you should find a way to try to just incapacitate the person instead of killing them.
Or tell them that you're going to shoot. Did he say that he was going to shoot him?
You can't tell. You can't tell.
Yeah.
It's I think the gun aspect is just it's pulled too quickly with cops, period. Like that's the first thing they go for.
Because they know that the guns are the one thing that instantly strike fear. You know what I mean? So I think that's how they, like, instead of some people using their words, like that's another reason we're having all these gun violence issues all over the place, because as soon as you pull out a gun, it puts people on, like it freezes people up. I think that's what cops do when they do that. Like, they're scared. Like you said, like even though they're supposed to be trained not to, and be able to handle the situation, they're scared. So then they go for something they think is going to settle the situation. And and there's plenty of people who aren't necessarily scared of a gun or have had guns pulled out on them enough that they're still going to react. But that doesn't call for you to still take somebody out, and that's hard. That's hard to watch. And that's just hard to keep doing. What you got, Bugs?
It's sad. I mean, it's sad because I see both aspects of it, but I do think that was uncalled for. And I'm going to just leave it there. I think that was uncalled for.
It was absolutely uncalled for.
So, y'all think in situations like that, when it doesn't seem like it's a violent situation to begin with, cops should just allow you to run?
I think if you have the ability to, let them run and follow them. Like, follow them until you get some backup. I don't think that shooting somebody that's trying to get away from you is the answer. Now, if they're coming at you, like trying to attack you,
right?
Then I might have to pop you. But if you're trying to run away, there's no reason for me to kill you running away. Like, dude was just trying to get away from him. So let him get away, catch him later, follow him with the car. Like, his friend was still standing there, videotaping.
Right, and they had the car in possession. They had the friend. They would have had the information on the guy. Yeah,
who's your boy?
Had the information.
If you get the right person, they're gonna tell who the bull is.
Right.
Who's your boy?
So in that case, is that like what you're saying to that aspect, PJ? So should we train cops to just let them go when it's like somebody runs, or they like?
Yeah, if
is there a certain distance or a lot they should chase them? You know what I mean? Like, what do you think? Like a protocol
if it's
should
a
be.
situation like where this person doesn't seem like they're a harm to themselves or to the rest of the public, right?
Yeah.
Let them go. It's no different than there's a lot of places where they say that not to have high speed chases. If somebody starts to run, let them go because you're causing more harm, or you could possibly cause more harm to everybody around you. I feel like it's the same type of situation should happen with people.
I think it's a like that situation. That's a traffic violation. Like, I'm not trying to pull my gun on nobody at a traffic violation. That don't make sense.
Yeah.
It's just you got the car, you run the plate, find out where it's supposed to be at. If the car is stolen, you figure all that shit out. You got fingerprints inside the car, catch the dude. Like, it's a stolen car. Now somebody's dead over. I don't even say it's stolen. It might even be a stolen car.
Yeah, because they didn't even say that. Yeah, it was just the things didn't match up. So who knows what that situation could have been about?
Yeah,
but he didn't give it a chance to develop that. I mean, even though the guy in the car didn't give him a chance to figure things out either. But
correct.
You know,
as I said, like dudes at fault up until a gun gets pulled.
But then again, was there a language barrier there? Yeah, because he was from where from Congo or somewhere like that.
Congo.
Yeah, so
Congolese.
It could have been some confusion there, or all he knows of police in the United States are that they kill people. So then he got nervous. You know what I mean? It could be many different things as to why he reacted the way he did.
But knowing that and knowing that he's from another country, when you think that would be that much more of a reason for you not to approach him with,
well he asked,
but the cop didn't know that though.
Well, the cop did ask, did he speak English?
When he was trying to get him back in the car.
Yeah, he asked. He said, "Do you speak English?" And he said, "Yes." So, but he knew that there was some type of language difference there, but I don't know if that communication was part of the breakdown or not.
I don't know.
And to be 26, that's young as hell, man. Like this stuff is crazy.
It's for me.
Yeah,
it's just you want to say just comply and deal with whatever the consequences are, whatever it is you're doing, which is how we should be able to look at it. But then you have situations where you do comply and it still goes south. So it's almost like you really don't know what to do. I don't think the police department should be doing traffic situations. They should hire a different force, like a Department of Traffic Safety or whatever. Let them do tickets on speeding.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that because every traffic situation isn't a normal traffic situation. It may start off that way, and
call back up.
So are these people that you were proposed, the people you proposed, would they have weapons?
The ones here, I don't know if they have weapons or not. I know they have the cars. There's like the Department of like motor safety or something like that. And pretty much sit on the highway, they give you tickets for speeding, that kind of thing. But it's like, I don't think policing should traffic violations. Like, your registration is expired. You know what I mean? Shit like that. I don't think that cops should be doing that.
But your registration is expired. You get pulled over. You know you got a bunch of drugs in your car. You get out, you start running, or you want to fight, or whatever it is you want to do. It turns into a different situation.
But I think those would be very few of the situations. Like regular like car accidents,
you think so?
Pullovers. I do. Mm-hmm. I think that the least amount of traffic violation stops are drug related, or they have drugs or guns and shit in the car. Now that's the most risky stop for a cop to make, and every cop has said that. Like, you have no idea what you're walking into. But I think that again, it'll be the lesser of the situations that you would deal with. In the same breath, if people understood that these aren't real cops that are pulling you over, they're just traffic people, then you might get a little more testing. They might have to get these people guns, and then you fall into the same situation. Now you got somebody who's not a cop killing somebody. It's tricky. It's a lot. Mm-hmm. It's a lot to figure out. And I don't think there's a perfect answer to any of it.
Yeah. It's just sad. It's another week, another story, and as long as we've been on for this almost 2 years, We've had a lot of these, and it's just sad because even though we recording, and like you said, we have one moment we have a victory in one Ahmaud Arbery, you know, the Chauvin case, but then we turn around and we have Amir Locke, this, you know. So it's just like 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. We definitely need to figure out something sooner than later, though, to get this thing corrected, man. Like, because like I like PJ's idea about like just not even chasing them, like, you know what I mean? Like, if it's, yeah, like if you're not even suspected of them doing something real serious, like why even super chasing? Like you said, you have his friend, you have the car, so proper policing in that point would be like, all right, well, we got your friend. So, you know what I mean? Like, either if we just sit on your friend for, right, you know, and just let him go. No, you just had to be a superhero and chase after the one who wasn't complying. Like, that's goofy to me.
But also somebody said that if police officers were losing their pensions and their pensions were going to the families of the people that they kill, they'll be slower pulling out their guns. And somebody else was saying, like, if everybody had life insurance, I think we have talked about that before. If everyone had life insurance, then the payouts would make them be more strict on cops and police involved killings. Mm-hmm. It's just, I think something has to happen where monetarily you're going to lose. And right now it's like when shit happens and people get payouts, it comes from taxes, and we pay the taxes. So we basically paying you to kill people in the street anyway. Yeah. So it don't come out of police fund. You can't sue the officer. Like it's I think officers should lose their pension if they kill somebody. Your pension goes to the person that you killed.
No doubt.
So that's that.
Yeah.
However, it sucks, and I'm sad. It's sad that it's happening, but in these here states of Georgia, it might be a little more of a risk because now the people you're pulling over probably got a gun on.
First time tonight in decades, you can carry a firearm in Georgia without a permit.
The governor signing the measure into law within the last 2 hours now. A victory for Republicans like Governor Brian Kemp, who are facing re-election this year. But is this a move that the greater public wants? 11 Alive's Doug Richards live in Douglasville, where he asked the governor about that.
Yeah, you know, I talked to the governor about this issue a number of times. In 2018, when he was running for governor, he told me a couple of times that he wanted to enact constitutional carry. Now it is state law, and it is a huge campaign issue as he seeks re-election this year.
And let's get this done.
Governor Kemp had a lot full of loud supporters outside a gun store in Douglasville, where he signed into law the bill backers call constitutional carry.
Yeah. This just simply allows you not to have to get a piece of paper to legally carry. I mean, look, the criminals are getting the guns anyway.
The law eliminates the requirement for a background check to obtain the government-issued permit to carry a firearm in public. It is still illegal for children and convicted felons and folks adjudicated with mental health issues to do so. Critics say it opens the door to more guns on the street.
The logic that if we put more guns on the street, we put guns in more people's hands, that we will have less crime is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
In the spring of 2018, an 11 Alive News Survey USA poll showed Georgians overwhelmingly opposed eliminating the permit requirement to carry a handgun. In February of this year, an AJC poll found that voters still overwhelmingly disagree with the removal of the gun permit requirement. Kemp put his full support behind a constitutional carry bill this year for the first time after former Senator David Perdue challenged him for the Republican nomination.
But the Second Amendment is very, very strong in Georgia.
Perdue says it wasn't popular enough, at least among the people he talks to.
Polls have shown that constitutional carry is very unpopular among Georgia voters. Does that matter?
I don't know what voters you're talking about, but I can tell you,
scientific polls.
I can tell you right now, I support the Second Amendment, and I am absolutely in support of constitutional carry.
I think when you poll every day, Georgians, they're scared. I mean, look, people don't have to carry if they don't want to, but this is a constitutional authority that people have.
that poll that we conducted in 2018 indicating that 70% of Georgians, or that 80% of Georgians back then opposed constitutional carry. If you also took that poll and looked at Republicans only, about 70% of Republicans actually supported it back then. So those are the folks who Purdue and Kemp are listening to now in 2022. Back to you.
All right, Doug, thank you for clarifying that.
White folks he's talking about.
I mean, he said something real key in there. He said people were scared. And this is what keeps making everything get worse, because everyone is scared, you know, in these matters. So then now we know for a fact these scared people are shooting people for no apparent reason other than the fact that they're scared. And they can't. It's just sad because now they're going to be even feel more like privileged to do it because they have it and try to justify it, you know. And it's just sad because, like, yo, you're scared, like, you know what I mean, like, you a punk, like, you a clown, like, you know what I mean, like.
But here's
just
the downside of this shit, right? You pass a law basically saying, like, you can just go to a gun store, buy a gun, no background check. And then after you go to the store and buy the gun and you're carrying a gun, if they find out later on down the line that you weren't qualified to be one of the people to buy the gun, now you have a felony. So one of the things that you can't have a gun for is if you've ever admitted depression, or if you've admitted depression in the last 5 years, which is a question they asked. Which is the question they asked everyone when they was getting like vaccines and going to the hospital for COVID checkups and all that other kind of shit. So all these people that may have said yes, or sometimes, or whatever, or you went to therapy during the pandemic, all that kind of shit, you can't get the gun. Like, you legally can't now go buy a gun. So you're about to put all these people in a situation where a felony is at hand. Eventually they're going to come looking for you for something that you didn't know you couldn't have, because a background check will just tell you you can't have one. But in the meantime, you can carry it. And this is like it's the carjacking. It feels like the carjack city. You park your car at the gas station. If your shit's unlocked, somebody's jumping in your passenger seat and stealing your car. Like, it's little things. And there's going to be a whole lot of people buying guns, and a whole lot of people buying them should absolutely not have them. It's fucking dangerous.
Yeah, but from what I understand, you still need a permit, right? Not a permit. You still have to go through the whole background check and everything to get a gun. No, that's not what they're saying. All they said is about carrying the gun.
Yeah.
But to purchase it, you don't have to do the background.
Since when?
That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. This is dumb.
This is all about carrying.
Conceal.
Yeah,
I'm saying, but you don't. But to register it is like getting the license for it. That's registering it. You don't have to go through the registration.
For the permit to carry.
To permit to carry. Yes,
that's not saying conceal.
Nah, because
they're two different things. You can't just walk into the store and say, "Give me a gun." You're still gonna have to have your license for your gun.
But that's what I'm saying. They're saying the license to carry is just to carry the gun.
Right.
Period. Right. That's just having the gun. Correct.
No, that's
like carrying that wrong.
So
because it's carrying the concealment.
So what I did here for Pennsylvania, we do know I did that. I worked there. So what you do is when you go to a gun store, you can purchase the gun. You would go downtown to the courthouse and apply for your license to carry, which is a concealed permit. In this case, they eliminate the license to carry aspect of it. So they do run something for you to purchase the gun in a sense, but there's always different guidelines for both. Like, you know, like here in Pennsylvania, you can't have drug convictions, domestic relations, things to have the permit, which I don't want to really say this, but I am technically, if you buy the gun first and get the gun, you're better off sometimes than going to get the permit, because once they have you on file with the permit and know that you can't get these things, you can't get them. Some of the criteria is a little different for the actual purchase.
So, because this may be my confusion. A license to carry and a concealment license aren't two different things. I thought they had to be a separate license to conceal.
No, the license to carry is your concealment permit.
Okay,
but you can purchase the firearm flat out. You know, like, and there's even laws where like people don't even know this. Like, if your grandpa had a gun and you lived in the same house, he can technically just write it over to you. People do it dumb sometimes and actually go to the gun store and try to transfer it. And what happens is they get caught up because they didn't know that they had charges or things like that. But technically, you can pass, like, if your mom had a gun and she just wanted to give it to you, she can. There's a lot of loopholes in guns, but this just gives them that flat out thing that they don't have to get a permit to carry a conceal, and let them know that they can walk around and let people know, like, oh, I got a gun on my hip.
My thought was, like, how I understood it, everyone can buy a gun, like, as long as you don't have like a record, but you can't carry it out of your house unless you have a concealment license to carry it out of the house.
Right. That's how it was. Right. That's how it was. But not everybody can buy a gun. You still got to go through your check to get
there's
the gun.
there's two different registrations to get a gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's two different avenues to how you can have a gun. You know what I mean? Because like you said, you can technically have the gun, but then like the permit allows you to do and go and do things with the gun. Like you said, you can with the gun. Yes. That's just like
you can have the gun in your home, but you can't take it outside. Basically.
But you still got to do like a criminal background check to get the gun in the first place.
Right.
And then the second
when you go
background
from
check is
state
when you don't need now.
Right. And when you go, I mean, technically, it don't even matter what order you do. It never mattered what order you do. It's just that I know that you would play yourself if you would go get your permit first to getting your gun. That's what I always said. But like, if you know, it's always state by state, because there's federal law and then state law. The way things are conducted is between state law and federal law, whichever one is the harsher law is what the government tends to follow by. Case in point, Pennsylvania, you're not supposed to buy a firearm till your age of 21, except for you can buy a long arm to hunt. So it allows you that loophole. That's why you see teenagers that can get shotguns, and they learn how to shoot shotguns because they're hunting, because it's a different, you know, and it's based off of federal and state law, whichever one is harsher, and they always go with that. And things rotate from state to state. Like, I forget what state. I want to say it's either Maryland or one of them. Like, if you have your concealed firearm and you come from another state, you have to have it in your trunk in a case. There's another one where you have to have it in your back window. So it depends, and that's the tricky thing about this. Like, that's a state law, but then you still got to look into federal law with some of those things.
Yeah. Either way, this isn't the first state to have this. There's like 20 something states that have this already anyway. You know what I mean? Most of them are red states, but you know what I mean?
Redneck.
Well, that goes right along with it. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's a mistake, especially in Georgia, because it's like they don't like the fact that the state went blue in the first place. And now you got pretty much the only black part of Georgia is like Atlanta. So you got Atlanta, you got some people in Macon, you got some people in Savannah, but the bulk of it is Atlanta, which basically means all the outskirts and the rest of the state basically is going to be gunned up, because white people are going to get their guns first. And now it's like it's going to be arsenals of people with guns just chilling. And then
no. They already have the guns. They're just going to carry them.
No, that's what I'm saying. But you're going to get more and then be carrying more guns now. So,
yeah.
But the real key about this is that we already know everything that we're saying is we already know that they have them, they carry them out. The key thing is the way they sold it. First thing you heard him say was people were scared. Other thing you heard is that the other thing he said was, oh man, it was just on the tip of my tongue. He said criminals. So you know that's the ideology of what they're trying to express. Like, oh, criminals already have guns. Like, nah, like don't just make it seem like it's that. Like,
you make it a connotation.
If anything, you may see more vigilantes and vigilante killings and shootings. That may possibly happen. But like I said, there's already 20 something states that already have this in play. So if those numbers haven't increased, I can't necessarily see it happening in Georgia.
But you also gotta put into play that they're already calling for like a revolution in this next election. They're basically saying, like, if Trump doesn't win, we're going to war. Like, it's just none of this shit's by accident. Like, there's no reason to do that down here.
Yeah,
it's easy to get a gun down here in the first place. There's no reason to do that.
Right.
So, welcome to Atlanta.
This is America. This is the thing. Like, it just sad. Like, we went from talking about a scared cop, and this is what takes place. But this also shows you the psyche of what they think and what triggers would transpire in that matter. Because, like you said, criminals being scared, and like you said, we don't even know if he was really a criminal. You know what I mean? Like, we got to stop thinking everybody. So,
I'm saying it might not even been his car. You don't know. But then you get, again, like
this mindset.
Like I'm saying, like the Roddy Bryant people and the McMichaels and shit. Now it's like they feel like they have more authority now because now they're going to have their guns on them in Walmart. And you're going to be walking around Target with a gun. Somebody talking loud in the basketball alley. Now you got a problem. You pulling the gun. It's scary.
Definitely.
It's scary. Y'all want to get the main topic? Y'all want to do this review?
Let's do the review. You want to do that, PJ?
Yeah. Let's see if we can.
Yeah, it's like
time to get back on.
Yeah. And let's
lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, man. Like, this is.
That's your fault. Y'all want to talk about it? So
just had them back to back. That's what it is.
Don't forget to unmute your mics when this start.
All right, what is this?
You ain't heard about reusable toilet paper?
If you had
Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about family cloth or cloth toilet paper, if you will. And you guys have been asking me tons of questions about it. I told you guys I would make this video, so I am making the video. Getting down to business. Honey. So getting down to business, basically I'm going to tell you and outline what we do, why we use family cloth, and how we clean it and all that good stuff. Break it down super simple for you guys.
Cloth.
Basically, what
that
we
means
use
they share
are cloths made of flannel or repurposed baby blankets, repurposed flat shirts,
they smell like ass.
Whatever, like
smelling and dancing with
cloths, towels, whatever. You can cut out basically
I definitely don't want to wipe what
that is
smells like
absorbent
my son
and
shit.
use
Like,
it as a family cloth. And basically, this is one of them, and you can just stitch around the sides like that. And you can find anyone.
I don't know what type of dumps they taking, but that ain't enough for me.
They will gladly take your money, cut up your old items, and sew along the edges. And so that's what we had done. We had someone local to us make these. This is super easy to make. I have actually made some of these. All you have to do is sew along the edges of cloth after making a square. But we also have some very like deconstructed ones, which are not as pretty, which were like just me cutting along. And as you can see, if you do that, it will unravel and fray faster. So these will not hold up as well as these ones will, because you really need to sew along the edge to make sure it'll stand the test of time.
They're not washing.
You can also find a variety of different Etsy shops online, but to be honest, the quickest and easiest and cheapest way by far is to do it yourself. I personally have made my own, and it's been great. It's super easy to do. You can get, there are tons of people sewing machines out there. There are little sewing machine shops or like sewing shops, and they will like let you rent a sewing machine. This is super simple to do. They will gladly show you how to do a stitch like this. It's really easy.
There's nobody that thinks this
I can't express to you how easy this is. It's super easy to do. So I really suggest that. Alternatively, you can go and buy baby cloths that come in like big packs, and you can use those. So after you're done using your family cloth, and we do use it for number one and number two, we just put it in a cloth bag. This is a repurposed bag that actually bamboo sheets came in. We also have some other bags. This is actually a knitting bag for some wool and knitting needles or what have you. And so we also repurposed this for our family cloth because I don't knit. I wish I did, but I don't. Alternatively, you can keep a bucket with vinegar or water next to your toilet with a top on it, and you just put the cloth in there. That'll allow it to soak. If you're like us and you'd rather use a bag,
So she said,
you can
wipe
just
your
dump
ass
that
and
bag
then
into your washing machine,
wipe your ass
or you
and
can
then take
alternatively
the rag
give
and put
it
it in
a
the pot on
vinegar
the side of
soak
the toilet
before
that has
washing
full of
it. What we
so it can
usually
soak.
do is we just put it in our washing machine. It comes out super clean. If you use
So she's just
detergent
making
of
pickle
any
poop
kind,
cloth.
it will get all the stuff off of that. And like if you're super worried, you can totally do like a vinegar soak, or you can mix in
that looks like some polished shit over there
soda if
too.
you're super worried, or you can go and get some, some diaper cloth stripper, if you will, and that will strip off anything that might be on the cloth, and you should do that once in a while anyway. But we personally just put it in our washing machine most of the time. I occasionally strip it, but yeah, we're gross like that, I guess.
Oh,
no one got time for that. Yeah. So going on to why do we do this? We do it because it is more environmentally friendly than purchasing toilet paper repeatedly, and also more environmentally friendly than actually recycled toilet paper. And that's right, it's actually more environmentally friendly to use family cloth than recycled toilet paper. And that's because recycled toilet paper has to undergo this long process of getting the recycled materials and actually making the toilet paper, recycled toilet paper, which will just end up in your toilet and flush down the drain. So this is much more sustainable because you are repurposing cloth that is damaged in some way, so it doesn't end up in a landfill. If you think about the process of making toilet paper, both recycled and regular toilet paper, washing these cloths in your washing machine is on a much lower scale. So washing it, people have complained in my past videos, what about washing
some white people
extra cloth and what have you? And to be honest, I do not feel bad about using water because it is more sustainable to use something that was created with water and have this not end up in a landfill than go out and buy something like recycled toilet paper, which took a ton of water to create. So that makes sense to me. It doesn't have to make sense
not doing
to
one
you.
is enough
It's
for me,
also
PJ.
extremely
Like, they whole house smell like shit.
frugal
I'm convinced.
to
Like,
use cloth
the whole
white.
house just smells like
And we do it because we want to cut down on our budget. So we don't have to worry about going out
PJ, if y'all got some damn family cloth at y'all house,
toilet paper at Costco or
the
grocery store. And we did it just repurposing things.
ain't no way in hell.
Yeah, there ain't no way in hell.
Like he didn't know about the 3 seashells. You remember that off of Demolition Man?
Yeah, from Demolition Man. Yeah.
He didn't know how to use seashells.
There's no way. She said we're trying to stay on our budget. Yo, toilet paper is something you can't cheap. Like, yo, I don't care. Like, nah, you're not gonna tell me that I'm just gonna use a wash rag to wipe my ass and throw it in a bag of other shitty wash bag and just in vinegar
and soak it in vinegar.
But is it any different than the old school diapers? From way,
you don't have to do this anymore. You don't have to do this.
You don't have to, but it's more environmentally friendly.
Nah,
all right, Renaissance PJ. So what you want to be environmentally friendly? At this point,
that's where PJ work at. You up at the Amish farms?
Yeah, man. Like, what is that? Like,
PJ,
I'm a family cloth
PJ, how do you even know about old school? No, you ain't, PJ. Like, were you born when they were sitting there using when did they stop using like cloth diapers, man? Like, come on,
mom
man.
swears
like,
she had diaper service. I don't know if it's true or not.
I'm about to say they still had them when we were young, but people didn't use them as often.
I don't know if I believe her. That just sounds fancy.
Yeah,
you look like you had a cloth diaper shot.
Diaper service.
With a safety get sprayed with perfume, right? Upon his tush.
Upon his tush.
Upon his tush. Yeah, I'm good with that, yo. Like all them people saying, it's crazy that there's actually a market for it though, and I just think that people want to ride a wave and just do some weird shit all the time just to say I'm different. Because like if you really care that much about the environment, that's not it. Like, I mean, there's plenty of other things you could do than rewashing your shit cloths.
That's different.
Yeah.
Because if I go to your house and we like, oh, we reuse that, I'm never speaking to you again.
Oh yeah.
Like,
what about company, man? You have
you got to use.
Like y'all got toilet paper?
Because we We don't even know where you live, so you know.
Yo, at the same time, look, I just had this conversation with my kids. Like, yo, if I have company, they can't poop at my house. You just gotta do it before you get. You just got to do it before you get there.
I think you got to be very, very, very close to somebody to poop in their crib.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got to be damn near family to shit in somebody's crib. I can't.
You got to be family or considered family because, like you said, your close friends. You can't just go shitting in nobody's house. Like,
yeah. I mean, if you were all right, if it was an emergency, or if for whatever reason you stayed the night or whatever, all right, cool. But just because randomly you feel like, yo, I just ate at your house, I need to take a dump. Nah, you can wait.
What? So what about drunk friend who can't go home and they just take a stupid dump in your crib? Do they got to clean it up after? Or they just mess up your bathroom?
Yep.
You host a party and drunk friend just goes stupid. You're
probably
deep, man.
It was probably that big nigga. He looked like he could drop a log.
Like he shit a log.
That'd be Eddie, man.
You know, he a trucker, cuz he go anywhere. He already said it. He don't got no problem where you go to the bathroom at no more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what he say. He ain't using no reusable cloth though.
Yeah,
if he do, that's
what it
our
is.
Friendship.
I'll let anybody take a dump in my house. You just got to use that family cloth. You can't use any toilet paper.
Nah, because they gonna try to flush the family cloth.
Yeah.
Nah,
family cloth.
Yeah,
you keep flushing washcloths down your toilet.
Yo, that's like Along Came Polly when he works the hand towel, flushed the hand towel down there and the shit overflowed. She had a blind ferret. Like that's just crazy, man. Like,
Boss said, "Ain't nobody dropping no stinky load but me."
Yeah,
it's that pop on Friday.
Yeah, ain't nobody doing that, man. Like,
run these comments real quick. Mo said men ain't gonna like the side effects of birth control pills either. Steve says sign him up. We know.
As long as they non-hormonal, we good.
Nah, you gonna walk around fat. You gonna be like Mr. Clump. Mo said people are running cops all the time, and if it's a non-violent situation, let them go. Payouts come from taxes, then they raise police budgets. True. Vaughn said that part of the conversation was a mood changer, and ain't nobody dropping no stinky load but him.
No doubt. So it's time for some heavy lifting real quick.
Yeah,
where Bugs at, man? This was his
he
topic.
Probably fell asleep. He said he had the munchies. He probably had Jack in the Box.
Yeah, Jack in the Cat. I'm hungry than motherfucker.
Let me get a number.
I talk like Harold because Harold got taken out crazy. Get out the car, Kane. Get out the car, Kane.
Oh my god! All right. Try to figure out where Bully is. Where do we want to start at? Let's start with the.
Just start with the topic.
New York weed law. All right, so we talking about weed. We want to know if there's still a stigma to weed, if it's going to get legalized. Like, how do y'all feel, one, about marijuana, period, when it comes to, I guess, just consumption?
What
I mean?
grew up with knowing people that smoke weed.
I'm sorry,
so
smoking weed, PJ.
I never thought
consumption.
Yeah, I never thought that it was that big of a deal. You know what I mean? Like, I know people use it. I know people use it for different reasons that they now say are medical reasons, and that was what people would say back then. I seen people use it for recreational reasons. I just never known people to really be that bad off of smoking weed. So I think now, I think that there's still a stigma because there's people that just believe wholeheartedly whatever they're told by like a government official or whatever dynamic that something is what it is. It's a drug and this and that. Like, you can't say you want to eat healthy and drink healthy and put hemp lotion on, but then think that, you just putting light to a plant is going to make you, so altered that it's going to do anything more than having a shot of something every night or drinking a glass of wine. So I never bought into the stigma from the beginning in my for me.
What's funny is that, you do have all the laws and everything, and they make a big deal and say, weed is going to destroy communities and whatever they think is going to happen. But yet we have tons of movies about stoners, and they're all comedies. And we just sit there and laugh at it like, oh, this is so funny because people are smoking weed and getting high. We don't have movies about crackheads that are comedies. You don't have movies about heroin that are comedies, but you have movies about people smoking weed and we all laugh and have a good time about it. You know what I mean? So but people, so you know what I mean? So the way that you view it is already completely different, but for some reason on the legal end, they just can't get there.
I think it's weird because like alcohol and tobacco are more addictive and dangerous than weed is. So it's like I don't see what the stigma government wise is there for. Most of those people were smoking weed in the 70s anyway. So it wasn't necessarily violent in the 70s. They were hippies. Like these motherfuckers were sitting in fields dancing and shit to music that wasn't playing. So to think that all of a sudden it's going to become like this dangerous world because weed is going to be here, that doesn't make sense to me. You know,
that's where the
we used to smell reefer at the park.
You're right. At the park, walking down the street, you know, people turn off the lights. And you like growing up in the hood,
you smell reefer
at 9 o'clock in the summer. Somebody on the back porch taking a thing during family cookouts. The family members that go take a walk. Like it wasn't uncommon. But the thing is that like it's crazy to me because like the prohibition aspect of it is just that then the government couldn't really get a grasp on it because like alcohol is terrible, but we still all know that it fucks us up. We all have alcoholics in our family, and yet the government was like, yo, if they go bootleg it, we're gonna get our numbers on it. So we might as well just let them do it and get our money off the top. Like any big connect. Now that's what they're doing with the same thing with weed. Now it's like, you know what? We can't stop this. And it really doesn't have any harm to it. Like PJ said, to PJ's point, it's so like it's funny that, like you said, even though it's federally illegal, but people openly discuss smoking weed all the time with no problem. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's like you said, like they know that it doesn't really have any true merit where it's going to harm people. Who the hell has ever just got so high? Like, man, I was so high, I just wanted to go drive a car.
But that's the
know
thing.
What I mean? Like
you would have a world full of Snoop Dogs, like
Harold and Kumar. You know what I mean? Like
mellow as
that's
shit.
what you have. Right.
Like,
people lay back. They go to sleep. Like you never seen an angry high person. You see an angry drunk.
Yeah, but you can't make it that simple, because if you do drive while you're high, you're still impaired. So
you can be impaired. You can be impaired just from being sleepy.
Right.
You can be
like
you can be impaired from taking your over-the-counter medicine for a condition.
I get that, and all of those things you're not supposed to do. But what I'm saying, but you can't just get straight high and then get behind the wheel of a car.
Well, no, you can't. You know what I mean? But that's the same way you can't get drunk and get behind the wheel of a car. I mean, it's still,
right.
It's
no,
the
but
same.
I'm saying, but the way Bub was painting it is as if it's like, oh, everybody's just going to smoke and just chill. That's not necessarily the case.
It's not that everybody just go chill, but you see far less. Like, here's the thing: people get arrested for weed all the time for stupid small amounts of it, but they're usually not doing something so fucking egregious that you knew like that they were smoking weed. Like he got pulled over and the cop was like, "Oh, I smell something in the car." You know what I mean? Now, when you see people with DUIs, it's because they're swerving back and forth. You know what I mean? Like there's a DUI test because of you're so impaired with this, you know, and everybody makes, you know, says they have a drunk friend or somebody that can drive drunk, but that impairment is completely different than what you being super high or something like that. They usually you ain't doing nothing that crazy.
You know, because you can get high and then think you seeing things and your reaction time's off. You can't get behind the wheel of a car.
What in the stereotype shit is y'all on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all be on some. See, now that's too many movies right there. Like
that's not that ain't
like,
movies.
He says seeing things.
What you seeing, PJ? Like, you know what I mean? Like
your reaction time.
What you've heard.
Right.
Look, what you've heard.
Yes, what I've heard. Right. You can't
air quotes.
And when I say seeing things, I'm not talking about hallucinations, like nothing like that. Right. But like you know, just your whole reaction time. You may look at something, you think something, you know, went past you, or you know what I mean. It's you're
you
going
see
to
Big Worm's head on the counter.
Right.
Like that's
big perm. I mean, worm.
But you can be impaired enough that where you shouldn't be driving. And like I said, everybody's not going to just sit down and relax just because they're high.
But I think, like Bub said, it goes the same way with alcohol or over-the-counter drugs. You can do that with Benadryl, and they say not to operate heavy machinery if you're whatever, what have you.
Right.
But you take the same risk. I don't think there's anything different. I think you're going to put yourself in the same risk pool.
So do we think that the way that they're doing this now, like, is it ever going to become like legally federally? Like, you know, the federal, can we see that the federal government decides to just make it legal the whole way around?
Yes. Because
if the money's there.
That's what I'm saying. Now
The
it's
money
a money
been there.
situation. But they're seeing how much money they can make off of it.
Yeah.
So for instance, like New York their stuff is legal now. Matter of fact, let's play this real quick. Let's play this New York.
Stores that will legally sell marijuana given the green light today in New York State by Governor Hochul. The first batch of retailers get access to huge quantities grown by local pot farmers. But there is a caveat. They must have been convicted of a marijuana-related offense before. That part is unique to New York. Not really, no. Several other states do it. But it seems important, right? Because it is. Darla Miles speaking with Executive Director of the Drug Policy Alliance, Cassandra Frederic, about why that caveat is so important.
So today's a really exciting day for New Yorkers. We have been waiting for to hear from the governor and the Office of Cannabis Management how the marijuana industry is going to be laid out. And so today they're putting out some of the first regulations on it. And what we're learning and what we've been hearing is that the governor has really taken on the mandate that advocates and community members and New Yorkers have said, which is we want an industry that is centered around people who have been harmed by the overcriminalization of New Yorkers. And so really focusing on how do we build equity into the industry. And what's really exciting is from what we're hearing is that New York is taking a really novel and innovative approach where they're actually centering people and then building the program around them, as opposed to what we've seen, which is they build a system and then they try to incorporate people into it.
Tell me about some of the challenges in other states in incorporating social equity in their marijuana legislation. Why was it necessary for New York to even take this step?
So what we've seen is that access to capital, access to real estate have been real barriers for people. We've also seen that the regulations have had sort of like a really high threshold for entry into the market. And so many programs have tried in earnest, right, to build equity into their industry. But what we're finding is that when you're building an industry, it doesn't negate the historical underpinnings of inequity in this country, right? If we look at any industry, they've all struggled with building inequity. And so cannabis alone by itself, no matter what we do in the regulation.
Okay, she's boring. I think it's dope. I think the fact that New York is doing that, I don't know what the other states are that does it as well, but giving people that have weed charges like the first dibs at having a license to sell weed, I think that is brilliant and that's fair. Because now you're about to make money off of something that people literally went to jail for.
How is that fair?
Because you're selling the same thing that now they're selling. That's like being in prohibition and then
it's fair because they took them off the street because they were doing it beforehand, and now you're giving, because that goes into the fact of like with the laws being racist in a sense, because like, all right, if I already had a head start or you had a head start in life, but I start taking advantage of some things that we could do, and then you take me off the street, and now you're gonna say, nope, you're criminally charged, you can't do this, but hey, they can do this over here and start doing what you were doing before, because now we're saying it's legal. You don't think that's like kind of unfair?
I get it to a certain extent. However, if you're doing something while it's illegal, it's illegal. How do you get rewarded for it after the fact? I get the fact that okay,
because the principle now they're making fact is it shouldn't have never been illegal.
Here's the thing, because
it should have never been illegal.
That's not the truth.
But here's the thing: if you have a charge for selling weed, when it was illegal, you can't get a license to sell weed while it's legal.
You can't.
So you cannot. You cannot open up a weed store if you have a.
All right, so these
like
people these are people that are being criminalized for what? Just having it on them?
Either having it on them or selling it.
Okay.
Like anybody.
Okay.
Anybody criminalized.
That part I get. That part I get. All right. So I get it. If you had it, you were smoking it or whatever, cool. But like if I was supplying pounds and pounds of weed through my city and get caught while it was illegal, I don't see how it would be legal for you to sell it once it's legal. You know what I mean? Like if you're doing something while it's illegal, period.
Because now it's legal. But if it's legal, you shouldn't be blocked from it though.
What's foul is that you're mad because my business acumen was a little better than yours, so now you try to catch up. That's how I would feel if I got the charges and I was like in your scenario, PJ. Like I would feel like, oh, all right, so you heed me off for it, take me off the streets for years, and now I can't do that because I was great at it then. And ultimately, you knew then, because like I said, like to Shad's point, when the hippies and everything were smoking, everybody knew it wasn't no issue for real. Like you said, with moderation, whatever you do it, most people don't do nothing crazy outlandish with it. So that being said, now you're just going to be full for like, you know what, y'all sell it. You just got to pay us your tax, run that in, and that's where the issue is. And then a lot of the people because how many people got stupid minor weed charges? A lot, and it's a lot of us. So
yeah, and that part of it, I'm fine with. But I'm just saying, if you were selling it heavy and you went to jail for it and it was illegal while you were selling it, I don't feel like that gives you a pass just because it's now legal. Because it's not like
what's
it was
heavy
like,
though? What's heavy?
Like I'm just like.
But even still,
you know
what I'm saying? Like that's my thing.
But now that it's legal, you should be able to have a license to sell it. I think you should get first dibs on it because it was never something that everyone agreed should be criminalized.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they agreed. It was illegal.
It was illegal. I agree. That's what I'm saying. I agree. But you went to jail. You did your time. You should be able to get a license. Why not?
Do you think it would help the community if they were able to allow some of these guys that got convicted for these things to be able to set shop up in the neighborhoods and make this money?
I don't know, but then I don't know. It's hard to say.
But that's like saying if you are driving a car without a registration, right? It's illegal.
Right.
If you get your ticket, you pay your ticket, and then you go register your car, should you not be able to drive?
Your license gets suspended.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I do, but I just feel like you can't apply it this time.
Nah, but it's still you did something. You did something illegal, and now you want to go back and do it legally.
I mean, that's like saying you get a ticket for jaywalking. You pay your ticket, and then they're like, "Oh, you can't walk across the street anymore." Like, come on, that's different than selling weed.
It's not. It's the same premise.
All right. So, do you think that
illegal, you should be able to do it legally?
So, let me ask you this, PJ. Do you believe that the government even truly believe that weed? Like, here's the true issue. Like, do you think that the government truly believed that weed was a drug?
Yes.
Or
at some point they did.
Okay.
At some point they did. Yeah.
Okay. But
I'm sure that changed at some point.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sure it changed at some point, but then there's the whole legalizing it, getting the money and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Them legalizing it has nothing really to do with whether or not they think it's good or bad for you.
Right.
Until they figure out how to fully monetize and get whatever they want to get off of it. Right. They don't want you to do it. Right. And that's what it's always going to be about.
And that's another point I wanted to go to. It becoming something that could possibly be federal strictly is based on their way of getting money, because we have so many drug laws, drug task force, so many drug things tied into this. Is making it legal going to outweigh all the drug charges, court charges, cops that we use just to generate that type of money, allegedly taking firearms, and that's weed has always been that scapegoat thing. Like you said, oh, we smell weed in the car. How many, like in that same scenario that we have earlier, oh, he drove by and we smelled weed. You know, like weed. If you take that away from a lot of fucking people where they could just drive around, like you don't hear them say, "I pulled somebody over because they're smoking a cigarette." You know what I mean? Like, but it's too much tied into it on the other side too. For it to,
it's going to be
to take
viewed
it
the
to
same
make
way
it
the
federal.
alcohol is viewed.
Yeah,
like in that aspect, it'll be viewed the same way. Like you can't drink and drive, but you can drive then drink. You shouldn't drink then drive. But it's like you shouldn't smoke weed and drive. Or you shouldn't smoke weed then drive. You know what I mean? It's gonna kind of fall like that same area. I think when it comes to the policing of it, it's still going to happen because people are still going to be doing it illegally. So even now, alcohol is legal, but you can't make moonshine in your backyard and sell it. Like you're still going to have that enforcement. It's just going to come in a different way. Like you still got people that are going to be growing it illegally. You got people that are going to be selling it illegally. Like you have all that stuff that's still going to fall in place. So I think they're not going to lose hours over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think with these new laws, like I think they're to like what we were trying to say, PJ, like I think it erases because like you take a lot of the young blacks off the street that were making money off this, and even though we still weren't the ones, like you said, even though we had pounds and pounds, we still had suppliers, you know. So and now you're letting these guys come set up shops and making money off of it flat out. So I think like there is some racism to that question. It says, is there racism in the industry? Of course there is. It's always about, you know, erasing us, rewriting it, and getting theirs. Because as long as they always thought that we were the drug dealers and thing, but now when you have a dispensary and if you own your own, you making your own strand, you're what? You're a weed man, right? You know what I mean? So
but
it's removing that part of the stigma, right?
Because like even when you go into the laws of like trying to get a license, they make it that much more difficult to do it. So you still have like the barriers in getting licensed, but it's easier for them because you got loopholes. So it's all kinds of shit that just makes it more challenging. And like background checks, family checks, and all that kind of shit.
You can also look at it the same way how slavery affect black people. You know what I mean? So it's like from, you know, we've been trying to recover from that from all these years. You know what I mean? And it's a generational thing. It's no different than you're going to be still recovering from all of the disproportionately being caught for having weed on you, or you know what I mean, all that
setbacks.
Yeah, so all those so all that stuff is still going to be into play in you trying to get into the industry itself. So the racism is already there before they even have to open their mouths. You know what I mean? It's, you know, the laws are already going to be written to say, oh, well, you already had this offense, other than places like New York who are trying to, you know, get people a part of it that already have some type of charge against them. But there's going to be other places that won't. They're going to make sure that if you have a charge, you can't have any parts of it. You know what I mean? So
right.
It's already there.
Yeah, so it's definitely set up against us because, like you said, like now, like here in Harrisburg alone, we got a few, but they ain't run by none of us. You know what I mean? So that's just, you know, and some of them, ironically, are in the same spots where we used to have a lot of drug dealing going on and stuff like that. Ironically, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man, like it's strategic.
I think that goes to the decriminalization part of like the weed industry. So, go ahead, PJ.
Are the prices in these legal dispensaries, are they going to be the
Dime
same
bags,
as
nickel
what
bags?
Right? Yeah. Are they going to? Is it right? Because if not, people are still going to get it off the street. You know what I mean?
Nah. Because in LA, for instance, when I was out there, like there's dispensaries like on probably like every other corner. And you go in, you're paying more for it. But I think the thing with getting
It's
it
a
on
better
the street
quality.
now, the thing with getting on the street now is you got people lacing shit so that you keep coming back to them.
Mm-hmm.
So people don't trust like the corner weed man no more. So if you can go to a spot and get like exactly what you want and have it have the effects that you want exactly and just pay them for it, like it's almost a no-brainer. You ain't gonna buy a drink in the middle of the park.
So yeah, true. so what's
that'd be funny as
man?
hell.
What's the weed man gonna do now?
What should he do?
No,
Get licensed. He should get a license, open up a dispensary. If he played his money right, he would see how much more money he can make doing it legally.
I'm talking about the nickel and dimer, the hand-to-hand guy. What is he gonna do?
Work at a weed store. Like, figure it out. Like, it's just your industry's about to fall.
Yeah. That's the problem. The answer to your question is get some others and you come up with it together. And you build together. You know what I mean? Because even if you're a nickel and dime guy, you don't have it, but I'm sure you work with a few others. Hey, let's get on this idea.
You talking about the business aspect of it, right? The guy, the hand-to-hand guy ain't the businessman.
Nah,
He's
so the
just,
hand-to-hand
not necessarily.
guy, but the hand-to-hand guys are smart. Like, they know how to
some.
Right.
Some.
Right. Some of them are just looking. Some of them are just looking for some fast cash. So when that avenue's gone, now where do they get their fast cash from?
You can't. You got to find a way to get in the industry.
That's what I'm saying.
No, that's
not gonna work.
No, but what I'm saying is, will this increase crime in a different light?
No, they'll just sell something different.
Right. Well,
so you go from weed to crack.
When you say that,
there's not. Well,
I mean, now
not as many
on pills.
Yep, right. Well,
pills.
yeah, true. Yeah,
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. We see people get popped all the time for selling prescription pills. People for it and different things. But that's what I'm saying. But if you want to have longevity, just to figure out something, you have to be able to figure out a team strategy. Because if you're just hand in hand, like you said, like, it's slowly erasing, some of that out. There's still people that hustle that shit, like, but usually the people that still hand in hand and still have more weight than your regular hand in hand. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about in this thing. So with this going on, the young bulls that might have been doing it, just to, like you said, get their little whatever. Nah, you got to figure out a different strategy now. And the strategy, that's never been the end game, just to be a nickel and dimer forever. The end game has been to put yourself in a better predicament. So now you had to come up with a different strategy altogether and eliminate the fact that, all right, so this nickel and diamond, but I'm gonna race against time and put this thing together with some like-minded folks and get out of this situation.
Yeah, they all say that, but how many of them actually make that far? You know what I mean?
Money in hand is a problem for everybody.
Right.
Everybody knows that. You know what I mean? Parents die, they give them parents, they be like, oh, I'm so upset. Then they go on vacation for 2 months, buy a new car, and then when they broke again in debt, the money gone. Then now they sour again. Money in hand always changes for 2 months. Yo, we all know. Listen, we know when you see somebody sometimes with a 2023 whatever, and you like, oh, all right, yeah, Miss So and So did pass, and then they balling. And then, like you said, but the money in hand always changes things, because you always have these ideas of what it's gonna be, PJ, but you got to humble yourself at some point. Either get out of it and just figure out another strategy, or if you putting your chips right, do it with somebody else. You know what I mean? To do it something that way, like, like, you got to figure out something. But we know damn well that money in hand it fucks shit up.
Eddie said people selling the shit they get from the weed shop now, so they getting there and reselling it.
Yeah. I know people that do that. I know people that, since they got a card, they take people with them. You know what I mean? Like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's tricky, and you can do that, PJ. Like you said, like, you just got to figure out an avenue. Because even if you do that, you figure out, some people don't feel comfortable still even going to get weed. You know what I'm saying? Like, even going to a legal dispensary, they feel some type of way. Because I guess so. To answer the question, technically, there is some stigma to people, but some it ain't.
So what's crazy?
I don't know
if y'all know who Gary Chambers is, but he's a dude that's running for senator down in Louisiana. So he's running his campaign on legalizing weed, and this is one of his campaign videos.
Every 37 seconds, someone is arrested for possession of marijuana. Since 2010, state and local police have arrested an estimated 7.3 million Americans for violating marijuana laws, over half of all drug arrests. Black people are 4 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana laws than white people. States waste $3.7 billion enforcing marijuana laws every year. Most of the people police are arresting aren't dealers, but rather people with small amounts of pot, just like me. I'm Gary Chambers, and I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
No,
That look like a commercial for
money.
Yo, that look like a commercial on the Atlanta series. Like,
yeah,
that's what that looked like. Like,
yo, how you smoke a blunt in a campaign video though?
Yeah, he just wasted money on that commercial.
Nah, he want to talk his shit. Like he's gonna look back at that.
But here's
like,
the crazy shit. I think he gonna win though. Like the dude he running against ain't popular right now, and this dude's on like Jimmy Fallon and what's it, the Breakfast Club and all kinds of shit. Like he's super popular social media wise.
I want to revisit that in like a few months. I mean, whenever when's the election end for that?
November.
We definitely want to revisit that to see if because if I can get away with that shit, that's some remarkable shit. Like that really looks like Arizona. The price is on the can. That's exactly fucking feel I got that. Well, like, he just in a recliner in a field with an L. With a suit on. Like,
but that's I think
that's what.
So that's the big thing from what he was talking about, like with the criminalization of it and how much money they spend on enforcing weed. Should people that have weed charges, they be able to get them expunged?
Just because it's legal?
Period. Now that it's like, if it goes legal, if you have a weed charge, should you get it expunged?
No.
I think
if it's legal in your state.
I say
said
no.
Yeah.
No.
Go ahead, Bob.
No. Go ahead, PJ. Elaborate more.
Because you got the charge when it was illegal. It's that simple. I don't think that just because you
But should that be on your criminal? Should you have a criminal record for it though?
I mean,
even if it's possession,
maybe okay. It shouldn't be able to be held against you in any way.
But he's saying if it's possession, like if you have a possession charge, and you don't have an intent to sell, so you're not dealing drugs. Why should people know that you have possession?
All right, so let's say this. Let's say this. Your job has a no drug policy, right? And you get caught, they fire you, and then weed is legal everywhere. There's no more drug policies or whatever. Should you get your job back?
That's challenging.
What about if your job has a drug policy but weed's legal in your state? Would you take it to court? Would you fight for your job?
It depends because it's based on where your jobs
are they private sector?
Yeah, and like you may work somewhere, you may work in Harrisburg, but their office is somewhere where it's illegal, so they're going to go by wherever their corporate office is.
I think in that situation, like you shouldn't be able to fight it because you don't have to take that job. Like if you know there's a drug policy and you're not going to follow it, you shouldn't take the job that has a drug policy. Now I think that makes the work environment different because you again have the choice of whether or not you're going to work there. If you decide to work for somebody that does not have a policy, different story. But if you know that's what you're walking into, like you walked into it.
Yeah,
I think it should be expunged. If it becomes federal, I think there should be like a time frame back. Like I want to say like maybe 20 years or whenever, to the point where they even start making them real harsh drug laws.
I don't think it should be on your criminal record. If it's a possession charge, I don't think that you should have a criminal record for possession.
Possession. I agree. For possession, yes. Yeah, there shouldn't be anything criminal about possession unless that possession was several pounds.
They probably having a party.
Pound PJ.
If you're like you about to sell this, because this is mine.
Right.
Like, it's going down Friday.
This is personal use.
Which could actually be true.
Distributed.
It could be true.
That's true. Definitely.
You can smoke a lot of
I definitely think it should be expunged because, like I said, I just don't think that. I think weed is definitely the true drug that people never really bought into, except for a lot of like very older people. A lot
It's
of
as
very
American
older
as apple
or
pie and
square.
baseball.
Yeah, that's why you got edibles and everything. Like, you know, like I think it's, I don't know. I just think that
So what
it
about
definitely shouldn't be
expunged if
expunged.
it's for the intent to sell?
I think if you're a drug dealer, you're a drug dealer. Like,
right?
If I don't think that should be expunged, but I think like possession.
But should time be taken off? So let's say you got they gave you 15 years for, I don't know, however much you.
I don't think anybody should be in jail for an extended amount of time for selling weed.
So if you, let's say you were to have gotten 15 years, should they, you know, cut that in half, or should they give you a quarter of it? What should they do?
I think it should definitely be cut. I'll say maybe a quarter of time served, and then you have restitution. Like, you just get a fine, depending on how much you was selling. You gotta get that money out.
Yeah, I think the true thing is, if it becomes federal, states are gonna do what they do because the government plays that game like that. Oh, we have federal law, but then we have every state can still do what they want to do, which is part of the reason that we're always in clusterfucks with situations from everything. You know what I mean? Then you have local ordinances, you have state, you have, you know what I mean, fucking and federal. So I think if it goes federal, yeah, you should start wiping people's slate clean.
But what they relied very heavily on, I can't say very heavily, but they did rely on charging people for possession or
with intent to sell. Yeah,
right.
So
now you're gonna have a lot of jails if we're starting to let people go and not charging people empty. So then what? That's
money.
That's a money maker. You can't have that. No, they're not. The federal government's not going to allow that.
I mean, but the federal government is also in bed with billionaires who have ulterior motives for those private prisons. So we know that's part of the reason why they won't do that.
So now who's going to be targeted?
Oh, the opioid epidemic. Do them like they did us.
Yeah.
You know, they said wasn't that Chappelle's joke? How clean that was. Like, he said, hey, just say no. Because when it was the crack epidemic, it was but now it's cry out, give out help for opioids. Nah, put them in there because they're doing things that shouldn't be done, or you can't understand because their mind's in a completely severe altered state. Do that.
Yeah.
See how that works. And see how much sympathy and empathy you get for that.
They're not treating opioids like
crack,
a crime. It's more like, oh, there's a condition.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're suffering.
Yeah, they're treating it like an addiction.
That's what I'm saying. So now it's like you're not looking at it like, oh, let's run up in this house and get this dude who got this fentanyl. Like, it's not the same.
But if you're looking at it from the point they're looking at it as, it's an addiction, but weed isn't.
Alcohol's an addiction.
But it's
cigarettes
legal.
That's what I'm saying. Cigarettes are an addiction.
Yeah, but they're legal.
That's what I'm saying. It's just
for alcohol, and alcohol is the biggest comparison to this weed thing, because in the 1920s we had prohibition. We had prohibition because the government said alcohol is bad. We can't get it. You shouldn't do it. So then what happened? Forget y'all government. We're gonna bootleg it and make our money because people like getting fucked up after a hard day at work. So cool. All right. So let us get our cut. We're just gonna make it legal. We just go make sure that we get it our way and we get our percentage off of it. Weed's heading down that road.
Yeah.
And weed's better than alcohol in the sense of, like, we've actually found things where weed has helped people with MS, people with glaucoma, you know, in certain conditions, anxiety, and it has some true value. Alcohol holds none of that. And they still just let you, like, yo, go ahead, drink as much you want. We just gonna tell you that if you get fucked up past this limit and the cop pull you over, that's it. If you kill some people, we just go charge you. Like, buyer discretion, like, you know. So for something that has a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? That's a little bit more medicinal with a benefit, right? You got to be a little bit more considerate, but they can't because they put too many people in bad predicaments over that fake narrative about weed. So
yeah, I'm saying crack is different, and then they try to use the weed's it's a lead drug. So
the gateway drug, yeah.
The gateway drug. So I thought about this.
Hi, everyone. My name is Thurgood. Hi. I'm here today because I'm addicted to marijuana.
Hell no. You in here for some marijuana? Marijuana? Man, this is some bullshit.
Marijuana is not a drug. I used to suck dick for coke.
I seen them.
Now that's an addiction, man. You ever suck some dick for marijuana?
Huh?
No, I can't say I have.
I didn't think so.
Who's this man?
Ain't that your point, PJ, though? It's a smoker film.
And it's funny, right?
Right. Yeah, because don't nobody ever make a good movie about an alcoholic. They'd be like, yeah, he was down on his luck. He died. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you right, PJ. Like, yo, that was a great analysis, yo. Like, don't nobody ever make a positive movie about an alcoholic or nothing like that. Like, yeah, man, you just like only the redemption story.
We need to have our own genre, like crackhead comedy or something. You know what I mean? Just
what?
A bunch of people just doing crack, and it's just funny for some reason.
Yo, that's petty, yo. Like, how's that possible? Are you gonna put? And see, we gotta stop because crack is old. That's how old we sound. You sound like Judge Mathis. Right. You know, you crackhead. Now it's the opioids. You know what I mean? Because crack, you know what I mean? Like, people, like, first of all, if you start smoking crack now, you're young. Like, I get it. I don't live in some areas where people might be more privy to try it, but you know how fucked up this gets people. So at this point, like in the 80s, I always say that people that tried it in the 80s, that's when it came out. So like you said, like even to the birth control pill, when you try it, when there's no, like you don't know what it is, it's different. This, they try and crack now, you just look stupid as hell.
Why? Because there's other better drugs out there?
I mean, there's not that is better drugs, but you know that pretty soon, like you said, you go be whatever they said on the thing. Like you'll be out there doing shit that you ain't supposed to be doing. Like you know, like you said, that's the same thing that the opioid does. So I can't call it, man. Like, but I just know you don't hear people doing that for weed.
Yeah. You don't hear about it.
Nah, but that's the thing. Like, you don't hear about it. Oh, did the shot just turn into a circle?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean,
hold on.
You know we live.
No, man, ain't the first shot. I mean, first bugs, now shot.
And we just live, right? Man.
Where was we going next? What was we going next with this? Or we had any more on this weed topic?
Nah, I'm over. Like, I just think it should be legal. I think the laws are crooked. I think that people should have it expunged. Yeah. You say, how do you feel about it?
For possession, yes, expunged. If you was selling it heavy, maybe cut some time off if it becomes legal everywhere. But when it, you know what I mean, I'm just on the, if you're doing something while it's illegal, that's on you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Man, I was hoping Shy could get back on so we can do this.
Yeah, we got our block list.
This block list, man.
And we want to know, like you said, the crazy thing is, yeah, we got a block list. We got an honorable mention because we got somebody that's on their third strike. They're approaching, and we got our new member that we need to put on the list.
All right, so let's talk about this third strike on this honorable or this
let's
block.
do that.
All right, so first of all, what were the first two strikes for this person?
Remember the person, like, it's Lizzo.
Okay.
All right. And she's remember the first time we discussed her when she was at the Lakers game with her cheeks out.
Mm-hmm.
So when we discussed her about her, Shy, we're like, I know you're just getting on. We're discussing the third strike for Lizzo. So, you know, and PJ said, where does it come from? So what I'm explaining is the first one was her crying about, you know, the outpour of that. And then the second one was, what was it, Shy? What was it that time that she was discussing about something about her appearance where she was?
Oh, when she was talking about being bullied because she was a big girl.
Right.
And she made that video crying, talking about how confident she was, but
That's
how bad
it.
it hurt.
So then now she's going on the plane with some stirrups with her ass out. And my thing is that I don't think, here's the thing. I know America's really into this fit thing right now, but truth be told, guys like big women too. Like, stop with all this body shaming. It's just the fact that what you're wearing is beyond appropriate. Like, it's just inappropriate. Like, if a skinny chick walks in with her cheeks hanging out all the way down to the back of her knees, it's going to be inappropriate. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can't say like, I'm trying to push this narrative, but you're going to the utmost extreme to show that, oh, this is my body. Like, nah, just show your body as a regular body. Like, because like, if I walk into a basketball game and I seen somebody with her cheeks out when I'm with my son, like, it's going to be something. Like, I'm going to feel some way, like, with him saying cheeks. I don't care if she's in shape. I don't care if she's Wanda from Bernie Mac. You know, she was like completely in shape. You know what I mean? Like, that's not appropriate. So you can't keep saying that people talk about you when you're going to the nth degree to pull off what you look like. So I'm tired of talking about her and her crying about what she's doing, because that's the thing is this that makes it even worse is she's talented. She is talented. So you're taking away from your talent by doing all this extra shit. And that's why I said I'm about one more cheek, or you know what I mean? Yeah, one more cheek or lip hang before she goes on the block list, in my opinion. So what do you feel, PJ? You don't think she should go in there, or you think that people will come change because you think we will be fat shaming or something?
I mean, okay, so at first glance, it's definitely going to come off as that. It comes off as
fat shaming. Yeah,
it comes off as not based on your words, right? But just based on the fact that we want to put her on the list, because the only time she comes up is when we can see her cheeks. And it looks like, we don't want to see Lizzo's cheeks. But you don't talk about anybody else when they have their cheeks out, though.
Because who else is walking around with their cheeks out?
I'm sure there's people that walk around with their cheeks out.
Tell me.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Right.
But why?
But
why is it doesn't make that big?
All right, check this out.
Because they're not as big.
No.
So here's
Kim Kardashian has her cheeks out, and we still talk about like, yo, she needs to cool the fuck out. Now she's crying.
No, we never talked about Kim Kardashian changing the way
on
she
our
dresses.
show.
Not about the way she dresses.
Did she have her cheeks out though? Even when she did that one
you
thing.
Just said that.
What I'm saying is that now she's crying because her son has a video of her. You can see a video, heard about her and her son. How she got famous with her cheeks out. So don't do nothing that you don't want people to talk about.
No.
Like,
you're trying to put two things together that ain't making sense, man.
It is nudity, PJ.
That's true. That is true.
My thing is, my only thing, I don't want her to come out like in 3 weeks crying that people are talking about her.
Okay.
Like, if you do it and deal with it, because you open up the door for it. So don't cry and be like, oh, they're teasing me and they're so mean to me, blah 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 blah. Like, nobody cares.
Okay. All right. So I will agree with that. So if this does result in her crying about it and a whole big thing, then we can revisit possibly putting her on the block list for contradicting herself. Right?
Cool. So she gets the honorable mention.
Yes.
All right. So
she's on the way.
So she's on last strike. Strike 3.
Last strike Lizzo.
So
last strike Lizzo.
So next story about Lizzo that's crazy. She hits the list. But we do got somebody that's going on the list this week, right?
We absolutely do. So Ted Cruz, we've had enough. Everything that you've said has been dumb.
You let Trump call your wife fat and he became his homeboy. You deserted your folks in Texas and went to Mexico because it was a better climate. You fucking suck as a person. So,
don't forget how he tried to come at Ketanji neither.
Oh, he definitely came at Ketanji. And then he red green eggs and ham on the Senate floor. Let's never forget that. Did the birther thing with Obama. He's a jackass. So, anybody got anything to say to Teddy before you go?
Nope. I can't. No.
Hell no! If you don't put that motherfucker on there fast, and then, like,
you didn't even need an explanation. Yeah, no explanation needed on that one.
So Teddy out.
Yeah, so we got Lizzo, and we got 2 members for everybody that don't know. 2 members that want to try to get 2 people that we put on the list. They want to get them removed. So you got to watch next week as 2 of our guys try to get 2 people pulled from the list. I don't know how they go do that, but yeah, they go try to make it a pill for these dudes. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But
yes, sir. Are we appropriating cancel culture at this point?
Yes.
No.
Oh, okay. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Not
That's
us.
what we're doing.
We don't cancel people. We're just making sure for our own mental health's sake that we don't discuss things that are going to keep us in a state of irritation.
Oh, this is a mental health decision.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's all about the verbiage. And that's what this block list is. It's about making sure we make the right decisions so we don't have to sit here and come up on it every week like this beep, 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 beep again. So especially that couple that was on there. So we blocked them a long time ago. So I guess that's it for this week, right?
Yeah, we good. Hold on, got it.
Oh, here comes the music.
At the end of the show, we're doing our Oh Bad Bugs serenade and sayonara. Weed is your friend. Weed is good for you. It has its medicinal purposes. It's always been around. We've always dealt with it. We've always had it. Don't let weed at this point become your determining factor if your friends are going to be your friends and if you're going to break the law or keep the law. Weed is good. Weed is okay for you.
That's not what we said.
Weed is good.
That was not the point of the show.
That's the edible and wine kicking in.
Yeah,
that's what that is. Sip some wine, work things out. That's what that is.
Weed is your friend. But not for real. Like, follow the laws. Make sure that you're in compliance, whether it's the weed situation, whether it's the gun situation. Just make sure you don't get caught up in some dumb shit, because that's where a lot of the legalization is going to become felonies for people, especially for Black people, because we're going to be doing things outside these legal lines, not knowing what's happening. So if you're going to do it safe, do it right. That's it.
No doubt.
Global bath out.
Bloop, bloop.
Ooh.